Hello and welcome back to Life in Recovery. Did you know that every time you lick a postage stamp you're consuming 1/10 of a calorie? Well, before we move on to the main part of this video, I just want to say an apology if you hear any background noise. There's quite a lot of building work that's been going on recently, and it's a Saturday and I've been waiting all day to film this video, and the light is now going, and I'm not one of those fancy YouTube video makers that has their own daylight lights, so if the lighting goes a bit odd, then sorry, and if you hear lots of noise, also sorry, but anyway, just bear with me. Hopefully this video will be worth it. So this video is actually in response to a comment I had on a previous video, and it's all about walking. And I have done a more general walking for health video, which I'll link below, but this one just goes into a little bit more detail. And many thanks to Mud Pie who requested this, and also just to say, if any of you have any questions or topics you'd like me to discuss, then do leave a comment. I do eventually get round to making a video for you or writing an article for you. I'm always looking for inspiration. So Mud Pie asked, in response to, I think it was my July in review, my July favourites video, about how I recommend starting towards a big walking goal. I think that month I'd done a lot of 7 or 8 mile walks, and they wanted to know how I'd got to that point. And it's actually a very simple, if boring, answer, and it's something I have talked about before, but really it's, building up any kind of exercise routine is all about starting small and then progressing slowly once you feel comfortable with that, with the level that you've reached, then you build on it. And I started from a complete standstill, so if I can do it, then there's no reason why you can't. And if you're at a really low level of walking ability, start really small. So set a goal, walk to the end of your street, or even from your bed to a chair, and then do that until it feels comfortable. And then you increase it, and then you wait until that feels doable, and then you increase it again, and you just keep going, increasing the length that you're walking and the amount of time that you're physically active. And so that may sound boring, but I think you will really surprise yourself by how quickly the distance you can walk actually grows. And I would also recommend structuring your longer walks around something enjoyable. So my first proper walk outside of hospital was, I walked to the park over the road from the ward, and the experience of being in nature and seeing squirrels running around and smelling the grass and the flowers, and really being distracted by all of that, really helped me walk further and further. And it was a great distraction from feeling like the walking was a real task and a real chore. And it helped me get my mind off the physical discomfort I was feeling. So Mud Pie also asked whether I stretch or do any exercises before, during and after a walk. And honestly, now Now my walking is not something I have to worry about or really think about too much. I don't stretch before or after a walk, but yes, absolutely. In the early days, I did stretch, and it was really important to try and warm up my muscles and get my heart rate slightly higher, so it wasn't such a shock. And that, I did that before and after the exercises. And whether the warm up was physio exercises, or it was simply just massaging muscles gently to improve that blood flow, a gentle stretch is a really useful idea to help improve flexibility, and also to encourage suppleness, and so that you're not so sore after the activity. The next question from Mud Pie was, do I use weights? And in short, no, I don't use weights generally anymore. In fact, I rarely get to the gym. But I did find that once I had a good baseline of activity, that some workouts involving weights were really helpful. And I actually did, I think, at least one video going into a lot of depth about exactly what exercises I was doing and why, before, probably about a couple of years ago. So I'll link the video again in the description box below. So hopefully that will help, because it's a little bit, this video it'll be 20 minutes long if I go into it all in a lot of detail. But yes, definitely weights are a really good idea if you're wanting to build up strength and stamina and stability, and that goes really hand in hand with your walking ability as well. And the final question was what I meant when I said that walking provides a high return and excellent benefits. So they wanted to know exactly what I meant by that high return. And really the high returns I was talking about, apart from stamina, are a general sense of well-being, and that's both mentally and physically. Walking can be a really healing experience, not only for your body but for your mind. And I've actually written a little piece about that on the blog, which again I'll link below in the description box. But it really is a great time and space to not only exercise your body, but also allow you to get some headspace and be outside, breathe in the fresh air, be mindful of your surroundings. It's a real full person experience, I think, walking. And actually it's also an excellent, another one of the benefits, it is an excellent activity for overall fitness. It really does work out your whole body, but it's super low intensity. So you're not, sweating, you're not doing a lot of extremely intense activity. So it really does pay dividends for a little amount of effort. And also it's a great impact activity, and that's something that's really, really important if you've been bedridden. You can be prone to osteoporosis and also decreased bone strength after long periods of inactivity, and walking is great for increasing bone density. So that impact when your feet and your legs are hitting the pavement or the field or wherever you're walking really does increase your bone health and your bone strength. And another great benefit is weight loss. And I had actually put on weight. So I was on a cocktail of drugs, and when I started walking, it just dropped off. It just fell off, the weight, I mean, within months, and I didn't need to diet, I didn't need to do intense workouts, just regular walks, and you know, I was then at a very comfortable and happy weight for me. So hopefully that has answered some of the extra questions about walking, and I hope that video was helpful. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and also remember to comment below if you want to hear more or you want to share advice or your own stories. But I think, to sum it up, with walking, it's ultimately all about perseverance and trusting that your body will let you know, and will tell you when it's ready to push a little bit more. But there's no point in trying to go from 0 to 100 overnight. That way lies disappointment and pain and trouble. And as Lao Tzu said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So until next time, goodbye.